Hey everybody, it's Marc here, doing very rare random reviews that I haven't done in a very long time. Also, I apologize for not being online for a while. I've been very distracted with a multitude of other things, and it's Christmas, and with a job like mine, you gotta know that it's gonna be a lot of busy stuff. But I'm not here to talk about that today. I'm actually here to review the awesome Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse. Now, I'm going to say right now that there are going to be spoilers within this review, particularly because, well, there are, and it's a good movie, but I'll leave that for you to discover your own. Um, Now, this movie starts off focusing on Miles Morales. I watched the trailers beforehand, and I can tell you right now, even though I haven't read many comic books with Miles in it, I can tell you that I loved his character as being portrayed in the movie, and a little bit in the comics. Again, I haven't read like a full run of his comics yet, but it looks like there's a new run coming out, so I might just start then. However, this movie is more focused on the Spider-Verse. Now, I'll tell you right now that it is not connected with the Spider-Verse comic book event that was done in Spider-Man by Dan Slott. This one's actually very different, and yet, in my opinion, makes it a lot more entertaining. So basically, we start the movie with Miles in his own world. You know, we see that his life is not the best, but you know he's trying to live it the best way he can. He has a father that's a police officer. He has a mother that's I can't remember what her ethnicity is. I believe she's Spanish. I think. And he has an uncle that his father doesn't get along with, but he looks up to a lot. And you know, we see all of that. We see a lot of really good stuff. And again, I like Miles a lot. I like the voice actor they chose was perfect. Originally, I thought it was going to be Donald Glover, who voiced him in the Ultimate Spider-Man animated series. But to be perfectly honest, the person they got is really good. I don't know what the name of the actor that portrays him is. I know he's in the movie Dope, though. That's how I know the actor best. But he does a fantastic job portraying a very young and kind of hard life kid. You know, it's shown that on his walk to school, that Miles is actually very popular with the students from his regular school. But because he has a very high intelligence, he's forced to go into this private school where he lives there, and he's there, and it's just, a lot of stuff. Enter Spider-Man, and one thing I will say they do fantastically in this movie is they do a good yet sometimes tiring way of telling someone's backstory. Now, the beginning of the movie, we see the Spider-Man of Miles' universe tell his story. He's basically Peter Parker. The one difference is that he's blonde in that universe, which is bizarre because Ultimate Peter Parker, while he wasn't blonde, he did have a different haircut, so you could differentiate between Ultimate and the main universe. But overall, yeah, we see his story, and eventually we see, why suddenly a bunch of other Spider-Man from a bunch of multiple universes all appear in Miles' universe. And I'll explain how that happens. So basically, Kingpin, who, if you're unfamiliar with, is basically like this big, fat guy, but damn does he got a lot of muscle. He's basically a crime lord, essentially, but he's so rich that he almost never able to get in trouble. He ends up creating this this machine that tears a hole into multiple universes because his family had died in a car crash, and now he wants to bring them back from an alternate universe. And that's basically the whole point. Something goes wrong with the machine, and we end up getting a bunch of different Spider-Man from multiple universes pulled into this one. Now, what I will say is that while this movie is generally okay for children in a sense, what I do love about how they make it is it's very not for kids, too. And I'm not going to say that you can't bring your kids to it, because, again, it's Spider-Man, it's essentially an animated movie, and kids will enjoy it. What I love is that they don't sugarcoat anything either. They show Spider-Man being murdered by Kingpin, and they show a bunch of other stuff, and it gets pretty damn serious at quite a few points. But overall, I'd say it's still okay for kids to watch. It's just maybe cover their eyes when Kingpin smashes Spider-Man's corpse to death. And anyways, because of the machine, we end up seeing a multitude of different Spider-Men, from Spider-Man Noir, Spider-Gwen, this Japanese Spider-Girl that I've never seen before, but I'm going to look up later on. And, oh, even Spider-Pig. And it's interesting to see all these characters interact. You know, my favorite's probably, other than Miles, the Peter Parker from the alternate universe that basically had his life kind of destroyed. I mean, it's his fault, certainly, but you know, it's a very unhappy life, and he's also kind of chubby, and he's not the best Peter Parker that we know. And let me be perfectly frank, I have not read every single Spider-Man comic book, but my favorite Peter Parker comic, my favorite Spider-Man comics are the ones where Peter, you know, is in tough situations and, you know, he has to make it out of them, you know, and it's not just in regard to fighting villains, it's in regard to his own life, you know, being able to keep the house, Aunt May needing to work or do something, and, like, him busting his ass to get pictures of Spider-Man to get him the Daily Bugle. I found those to be the most entertaining comics, which is why I'm not such a big fan of Dan Slott's run on Amazing Spider-Man. But overall, this story is done amazingly well. You know, we start off with Miles, we end up running into Spider-Man, we see how he gets bitten. I'm not sure if that's how he gets bitten in the actual comics. I gotta take a look into that later on. But it's well done. I know I'm basically overly, you know, praising this movie so insanely much, but it's so good, in my opinion. It's so fantastic, to the point where it is my favorite superhero movie of all time now. My old favorite superhero movie was Ninja Turtles, live-action movie. But this one has taken its place because it's so fantastically done. You know, there's so much build-up, there's so much good moments, and there are so many great scenes, both humorous and non-humorous. We even get a female Doc Ock, who I'm not quite I'm pretty sure Doc Ock is still a man in the Ultimate Universe, but obviously this is an alternate Ultimate Universe. And that's really all I gotta say, frankly. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Fantastic character building. It's just awesome. Although one thing I will note, I love that as far as Spider-Man Noir is concerned, because originally Spider-Man Noir was basically just like a you know, vest, goggles, and like the whole kind of steampunk look. Now they added a fedora and a jacket, so he looks a lot more like a grizzled old detective. Also, he likes the Rubik's Cube. You'll understand that when you see it. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. Honestly, this is one of my favorite movies. I can't praise it enough. It's fantastic. And let me give you a little hint. You know, if you haven't read Spiderverse yet, it's quite a bit better than Spiderverse the comic. Anyways, that's it for now. I hope you all enjoyed watching, and I promise I'll be making some more videos within the new year. So, see ya.